Peace. MC Shawn Love, or as they know me in the beat making world, Metal Gear Solid Beats. I promise you, every single time you watch one of these videos, you're gonna learn something. Let me preface this by saying that I'm gonna talk a lot in this video. You know, I'm gonna do a lot of beat philosophy, there's gonna be a lot of racial stuff in this video. So if you're not interested in any of that and you just want to see the beat, you know, and how it's finished and all that stuff, fast forward to like 3/4 of the video and watch the very end, and then you're gonna enjoy that part. If you're interested in how the beats get made, if you're interested in what my thoughts are, then, you know, watch the whole thing. It's really totally up to you. I mean, my beats are never really meant to be held to the same standard as like some of the classic producers out there, because I'm just simply not as good. The purpose of these videos is to really school the youth or anybody who's not in the know about hip-hop culture and you know, how these things are really put together, and you know, and the good things that we really come from hip-hop. Anyway, so the name of this lesson, or the name of this episode, is really White Devil Music. And the issue we're dealing with is, do white people have not just a place in hip-hop, do we even a right to an opinion? We're in somebody else's house. And I was listening to the Brand Nubian album, the first one, and it plays like a fucking who's who of white artists. We're listening to like what's arguably their most popular joint from that album, and this is a direct rip from Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. I mean, this is pretty much, except for some drums and some other shit, this is their shit. It's her voice is in it and everything. If you listen to hip-hop in general, you start listening to things like Bob James Nautilus. I mean, if you don't know what Bob James Nautilus is, Google Bob James Nautilus and listen to it. That's like the peanut butter and jelly, bricks and mortar, nuts and bolts of hip-hop right there. And that's from a white pianist, you know? Buddies with Grover Washington Jr. So, I don't have to go down the list. I don't have to talk about Billy Squier or Average White Band or a million, trillion, billion other white artists whose music played a huge role just because they were the musicians that were sampled in the early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s. I mean, as far as like a house being built, it's a lot of foundation that's been built by white artists unknowingly because we took their music, you know? This doesn't have to be a racial thing. I just do hip-hop music, but the white-black thing's been getting thrown around a lot lately. And I don't personally like being made to feel like I'm excluded from it, because I've just dedicated too much of my time to hip-hop. So what I'm going to do, just to demonstrate a little bit, because I mean, obviously you identify me as white, not knowing my racial background. I mean, if it was back in the day when they were stringing up Jews and gassing them to death, I wouldn't be white then, but I'm white now, right? So if you identify me as white, what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept that challenge. And I'm not going to make the best beat you ever heard. I mean, I can't do that under the limitations I'm placing on myself, using an SP-1200 with only 10 seconds on it. I can't do that using only one record, but I decided to take the countryest, motherfuckingest, whitest record I could find. And I'm going to take, not only am I going to take every single sample from this record, I'm going to take every single bass, every single drum, every single snare from this Anne Murray Where Do You Go When You Dream record, right? And so this record it just bleeds white. You got like white angels and shit. You know, you got heaven and hell, you got white Jesus, you got white Christian. This is white, 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 white. Alright? I'm going to take this white ass record, and you can hear it. I'm going to make hip hop out of this shit. Now, see that drum? I'm gonna have to go seek out little drums. I'm gonna have to seek out little snares. I'm gonna have to find the bass line. I'm gonna have to find something funky about this record. I'm not gonna use anything else but this record. And not only am I gonna make a hip hop beat and a little joint, right, for y'all right here and now in this afternoon, right now, not only am I gonna do that, but I'm gonna make a joint, and I'm saying this before even knowing what the hell I'm gonna take. But I just know, based on how I live and breathe hip-hop and how that's a part of my life and my history personally, this white dude, I know that I can take this white record and I can make something from it that sounds more hip-hop than, look them up, whatever date it is today, as long as it's after 1998. Look up the top 3 most popular black artists that are, or not just black artists, but just urban music, period. Listen to the top 3 rap records that are on the top of the charts right now. I guarantee you, whatever I do on this record, no matter how good it is or bad it is, it's gonna sound more like hip-hop than the top 3 most popular records in the country, United States of America, right now, okay? So I don't give a shit who's at the top right now. Igly Galizia, or whatever the hell the white girl's name is. I don't care if it certainly is, sure as hell ain't gonna be any of these people I'm talking about like Lord Jamar, but anybody who's making hip-hop music right now, or the genre hip-hop music or rap music, the 3 top records in the country, whatever I do in my little room, in my little apartment with this white-ass record, is gonna sound more hip-hop than that. for better or for worse. But when you think about hip-hop and hip-hop sensibilities and the way that we listen to hip-hop back in the 80s and 90s, when hip-hop was really being founded and secured in terms of how its sounds were, and in terms of how hip-hop sounded and how it felt, and how it came from the artist and how it communicated emotion to you. Whatever I do right here is going to be more hip-hop than the 3 black people on the top of the chart making records. The reason is because I don't use hip-hop to survive. I don't use hip-hop to make money. So that absolutely, positively has zero effect in my artistic development as a person, or is when I'm making a track, it comes from me. It doesn't come from the desire to make money or the desire to have a more, whoa, there's a little bass. See, this is some country-ass shit. But the thing you gotta understand is that no matter who I sample from, no matter what I take, the hip-hop's not here. The hip-hop comes from here. I take this and I make hip-hop out of it. That's how hip-hop music's made, alright? And ain't no black people in the room, right? Ain't no other white people in the room, ain't no Hispanics in the room. Just little Jewish Shawn and a white-ass record. Let's see if I can make some hip-hop. So this is the kind of thing where hip-hop is like a real spiritual thing for me. And I think it's been lost. And it breaks my heart that it's been lost with so many black artists, and that just by happenstance, that out of the artists that didn't lose that hip-hop feeling or what hip-hop means when you make it, and how you can express yourself with it in a way that's organic and passionate. It's not my fault that it got lost on so many black artists. There's a shitload of black artists that didn't get lost on, that are much better musicians, MCs, and beat makers than I am. And they didn't lose it either. But it just so happens that a humongous amount of artists that are at the top of the charts right now that happen to be black, some of them that happen to be black, lost hip-hop. And you know, they're doing something disguised as a genre of hip-hop, but they lost whatever real hip-hop is. They lost that feeling, or they never had it because they're too young, one way or the other. I'm gonna prove to you that I didn't lose it. I'm gonna take this bullshit, I'm gonna find something. Alright, so right here, I'm gonna find the bass from this piece. Let's get it. I'm gonna find my meat and potatoes from this piece here, because I can hear little piano sounds in here, and I know that something, if I chop it up enough, if I take enough from it and I restructure it, I can paint my own feelings with that. Gotta take that bass line in there, do do do. Whoa. See, there's such thing in this world as white people's soul. It's a little littler, it's a little smaller, but if you find it and you blow it up and you bass it up a little bit, you can make something out of it, right? So let's find this lady's soul, right? What she got for us? See, when you're looking for soul, you're looking for when somebody meant that shit, when they felt that shit, when they said it or they played it or they did it. And I'm gonna find, I gotta be a detective, because like when it comes to survival, I'm in the jungle right now, you know, I'm in the wilderness of whiteness, and I've gotta find some bass and some soul and something in there, some meaning, something to take so I can restructure it and make it feel how I feel. So I'm gonna actually have to use that drum. That's gonna be my bass drum, even with the little sound in it, because I've scoured this record and I can't find any drums. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take that drum machine drum that was played back in the 70s or 80s, in the 80s, whenever the hell this was made. I'm gonna have to take that drum machine sound drum with the girl singing over it and somehow make that boom bap. Is this disco white gospel or something, man? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna get it. Watch. took some of these sounds, I doctored them up. Sometimes I had to pump the bass way up, resample them twice, just to get the sounds I want to get. But I managed to get a little palette here that's going to make me a beat. And you're going to hear it right now. Look, I got a bass sound that's my drum. I got to use that as my drum. I have no choice. It's got the little girl sound in it and everything. It's all I could find. And then I got my snare. It came from that record, believe it or not, right? I took that drum machine snare she had in there, sped it way up, slowed it way down, and bassed it way up. What else do I got? I got the bass that I took from that first record I was playing there, that first song I was playing on her album. I've tuned it way down so I can get some hard shit out of that, right? I took that little horn that I could echo right from her record. I got, when she did the little breakdown in her little disco gospel song, I got boom, boom. Kind of reminds me of that Redman against K Solo, or if you want to go further back to Just Ice, you know, sounds fresh. I got that from a record. And we're going to take the main sounds, which are my favorite, right? I got to tune them down more. And I'm going to have to mess with the tuning. Like, I'm going to have to tune them at all different levels to really make some melody out of this. See, this is her. You tell me, man. Look, I'm spitting off the edge of the earth, living verse to verse, and we both got the same routine, but I rehearsed it first. Top Jersey MC without work, spent years writing rhymes in the dirt without perks. And I don't quit. The joints you write 2 years from now won't fuck with my old shit. Underground tatterist, a sunless abyss, empty wickedness under the lips that utter my scripts. I flood they plane with a different name for every drop of rain, and they earths could pop a flame, but it ain't warm enough to stop the pain. Cock and aim, just to demonstrate that it's a lot to gain. Dispatch it like a maglev train and prove to you we not the same. Tighter I'm inside my lane, the more I'm insane. The more I sit and let the blood drain, the more it'll stain. So build them cubits out of gophers where the stain complain. If Babylon refused to fall, I use AIDS and cocaine. You can compare the God to Abel and Cain, but look at my range. You can isolate alleles in my brain and look at them change from the earlier design model. Noah with the wine bottle, wake subtle. Then I'm a monkey with a space shuttle. I love y'all, man. No, for real. I love y'all. For real, though, we gotta let it go. We gotta let the shit go. You know what I mean? It's 2014. You know, and Africa Bambaataa is a faggot. I love gay. No, Africa Bambaataa is a homosexual. You know, we gotta let this shit go. I have no problem with that. We gotta let this shit go. We gotta rethink our approach to this whole shit because, you know, excluding people at this day and age, it's not like you look at the top of the charts and you're seeing Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, who, by the way, are guilty of sampling a shitload of white artists. You're looking at the top of the charts and you're seeing a bunch of fucking buffoons and clowns. You know what I mean? It's like minstrel shit. If you're saying shit like that about individuals like myself and other people and alienating us from the culture that's fucking broken, it's falling apart. If you're fucking with us in that way, and you can't seem to find any peace with just like letting shit be as it is and letting people create, regardless to what skin color they are, what age they are, what sexual identity they have, or anything like that, then you're missing the whole point of hip hop. You know, the whole shit is just being totally lost on you. And the lesson here, if everything else is lost on you, is that you can make something out of anything. If you got hip hop, boom, right here. You can make that sound, that passion, that enthusiasm come through no matter what tool you're using, no matter what the race of the people that made the original music, and no matter what color you are. You know what I mean? Hip hop forever. Peace.